Welcome, CNG 124 to week one. You guys had a couple days to kind of poke around um, the course, and I saw people already starting to work on assignments. So let's jump into week one. Week one, we start to learn about binary. Um, Binary is zeros and ones. Um, it can be a zero, can be a one. That's the only thing binary can ever be. And then we also jump into um, what else? Hexadecimal. We start counting, looking at numbers in different ways. We take what we've learned, decimal, tens, and now we're learning base 2 and base 16. Now, if you do struggle, and I cannot stress this enough, if you struggle, practice more. Reach out, um, because this class, it has frustrating moments, but at one point you might like step away from your homework or your learning and come back to it and be like, I get it. And I don't know what happens at a certain point, but your brain will just click and you'll just start to pick up binary and hexadecimal very, very easily. But I can only stress that practicing and rehearsing will get you to that point. And that's kind of like this whole course it will not make sense sometimes, and that's okay. Reaching out, I can help you. I can definitely do video calls with my WebEx or just regular phone calls. Um, but I can only say, don't drop this course just because you find it difficult, because trust me, you will get it. Um, and when I say everybody can learn networking, I believe that as long as you're trying, you will learn networking. And that's a guarantee I can put on there. As long as you're trying, you will learn networking. Um, so you probably saw some of my videos. I leave old videos up so that you guys may get a chance to see them. This is, of course, our new video for this week. These are the old check-in videos, and I saw you guys kind of run through them as I moved on. There are homework videos. Don't skip out on those. Definitely take a look at those, because those will show you um, how I did the homework. And of course, at some point, you're going to come up with ways at how you approach networking. So let's see. So this week we're learning about hexadecimal binary. We will read out of the CNAP book. The assignments, activities, the CNAP activities are little small activities that are within the book. And you'll see that we start at chapter 7, then we go to chapter 1. We bounce around like that because I found this way more simplified to learn networking. And this class is successful so far, so it is a good way to still keep on teaching the class. So make sure you do these activities as you go along. You can snip. You can use the snip to get your answers and submit it that way. And when you're ready to submit the file, click on the link and it'll take you to the submission page. Then you just upload that link. I look for those green check marks, and that's how you get your little 10 points in that. Let's see, Lab 1, Binary Math. I can only say take your time on this. The date is off. I just have one master one for that. Basically, if you want, I have students count this out and say, okay, the 2 is not there, the 4 is there, so 4. They mark a 4 over here. The 8's not there, the 16 is not there, the 32 is there, so 4 plus 32, the 64 is there, plus 64, plus 1. No, I got off there. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Oh, 0. Okay, okay. I messed that up good. So 0 or 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128. Boy, I was really trying to make that a 2 there, wasn't I? So this digit can only be a 1 or a 0. of course, its value would be 0 or 1, but as we move left, this value here, on or off, can be a 2 or a 0. As we move more left, we just basically double that 2, becomes a 4. Move another one left, it becomes an 8. Move another one left, becomes a 16. Another one 32, another one 64, and lastly the 128. So everywhere you have a 1, add those up, and then when you get your final number for decimal, you just write it down. And that's the easiest way to learn, is to take your time, evaluate decimal, and when you make mistakes on homework, I will still give you credit for the homework, but I expect you to look at my feedback and fix your errors. Because when we come to the test, remember, there's no redo on the test. You simply just take it once, and that is your score. Decimal to binary, once again, very, very easy. We look at how to, what combination of 8 zeros or 1s can get us to 129. So I know, working from left to right, 128 would be the first one, so I'd put a 1. To get an odd number, I need to turn on this very last digit here, so I would put in 6 zeros and then add a 1. So my binary digit would be 100000001. And that would put my binary decimal. So once again, if you want to start from your right, as soon as you see an odd number, know that that first binary value has to be on, and then start to work by just adding. Hexadecimal, a bit more confusing. But when you look at the weekly readings, we want to divide basically the binary in half, and we're going to count to 16. Half of it will equal 16, the other half will equal 16, and then the numbers themselves will have to add up to their max value can be f, and their lowest value can be 0. Let me duplicate this. And go to notes. Binary is probably the easiest to get. It's hexadecimal that gets just a slight bit confusing. So here we are at the hexadecimal. It's in your MAC address. It's used in your IPv6 address. 16 values. Here we have our byte. Remember, we're always looking at a byte when it comes to networking. We divide our byte in half. So it's actually a nibble and a nibble. We have 4 bits on the left, 4 bits on the right. We have, once again, counting 1 or 0, 2, 4, 8. It has to be 8 dashes total, and get used to writing 8 dashes almost all the time in this course, because this will help you learn and get you stuck out of a lot of situations if you don't know the next steps. Writing this 8 dash line right here that we see for the values of binary or hex. When we move further on to actual networking, the same tricks are going to help you over and over, because networking, once again, is really just based off of binary, and that's going to help you master that. So let's see, the left half, we have a 4 and we have an 8. If we were to add those up, that'd be a 12. To get a C in hexadecimal, we start out at 0, and then we count. A would be 10, B would be 11, and then C would be 12. The right half value adds up to 3. We have a 1 and a 2, and basically say 2 plus 1 is 3. When we go to write out our value, we say C3, right? C3, H, small h or large h, doesn't matter, or 0x C3. And that's our value for this byte of information. Going back to our homework, let's see, we divide this in half. We have an 8 and we have a 2, so that's 10. That would be A. Imagine drawing an A. And then we have an 8 and a 4, that'd be 12, so it'd be A, C, H. Small h or large h doesn't matter. It's either one or the other. You don't put both. You don't put 0, 0x, C3H. You just use one or the other. And then lastly, we have hexadecimal to binary. This is a really good example too. Hexadecimal to binary. Basically, just draw out your 8 lines and divide it in half, and then say, okay, how do I achieve a 1? Well, that's easy. It's just a 1 on that very first nibble, very far right on that first nibble, and then it's 0, 0, 0. How do we achieve a C? Well, that's 12, so that's 8, 4, 0, 0, and then I have my binary homework. Make sure to submit this, work on it, submit it, and get it in. This video is kind of long, longer than I wanted. But that's your homework. When you go to practice, if you look at the assignments, where do I have that in there? Weekly reading, slides. Okay, so for review, and even if you want to review before you do your actual homework, that'd probably be the best. Do page 1 from your IPv4 workbook. Remember, your IPv4 workbook is up in the Getting Started section. Download it. Look at page 1. A lot of pages. Page 3. Page 1. Look at page 1 and complete page 1. It's just going to help you out, give you more homework. And if you want to creep forward, that's fine, because we do this a lot in this class, a lot of rehearsal until we get it right. And with that, I would say the end of this video. Have a good weekend. I should be back again checking in.